Yeah, I'm just glad I'll finally be able to fill in the gaps I made here on my wall. The only problem is I don't have enough room for everything now, even with the extra shelves I put in. I've got the Atari games and Elden stuck here. There's no room for them down there. I've got all the extra Sega CD and Sega Saturn games that are up top. I don't have any room for that crap, so I'm going to have to move those over and then squeeze. I don't have enough room. I need to make more shelves. That's still not enough. Alright guys, welcome back for part 2B of the massive Sega pickup video that I had to break into 3 parts, and then I had to break part 2 into 2 parts because there's just too much crap. And you can't see, but literally just below my hands is a stack of games that runs like the whole width of the table here. And then some more sitting over here, and that's why I had to break it up. I'm pretty sure I know where I got most of this stuff, for the most part, and I've tried to break it up in a fashion that'll at least make some sense to you guys. So I'm going to start out with the stuff that I got from Goodwills. The only ones I know for sure that I got from a particular Goodwill are these here, and I got these from the Goodwill on 62, and it was a bunch of games that I probably wouldn't have bought. Well, there's a couple of them I would have, but they sat there forever in their section where they keep the games and the books and all that stuff. And eventually they got marked down to, I thought it was supposed to be $1, but the lady at the register sold them all to me for 50 cents. So I don't know if they had a special going on or what. A lot of these I bought, well, because they were just 50 cents. And I think, let's see, do I have any of these? I think I had one of these. I think I actually had Battleship, but anyway, you'll see what I got here. A few boxed games. Mario Andretti Racing. And here's the Battleship game I was referring to. I have this, but I have this in the clamshell case. So I honestly have no idea why I bought another one. But whatever, I got it now. F-15 Strike Eagle. Jungle Strike, which I thought for sure I had Jungle Strike. But no, I didn't. Well, I didn't. Now I do. Yes, I bought Joe Montana Football. He was 50 cents and it's complete, and I don't know, a 50-cent complete SEGA Genesis game in the case you can't pass up, because even if I decided I didn't want the game, I can still reuse the case as always. RBI 3 Baseball. I've said it many times before, I actually like most baseball games, so I don't know if this one will be any good. The other RBI games, I'm having a hard time with that today too. I had a hard time with that the other night. The other RBI games have been pretty fun, so maybe that one will be as well. And yeah, I know, it's Bassmasters. But like I said, Bassmasters, 50 cents. I would have bought it just for the case. Now, we're going to move on. That was all in the one particular store. The rest of these were in Goodwills. I just couldn't tell you which ones. I think there's one or two I know where I got them. The rest, yeah, I got no idea. Got a copy of Virtual Racing. And I'm never going to be able to find the case for this, I'm sure, because it doesn't even fit in the yeah, whatever they are, the EA Sports cases. So, I don't know where I'm going to end up storing that. I'll probably just stay loose. I do know where I got this one. I got this one on the Maslin Goodwill. Rugby World Cup. And honestly, I just bought it because it looked so clean. Clean and complete, and it was just calling to me for $1. So, Rugby World Cup is mine. I have no idea what Marco is. Bubsy. A game called Cosmic Spacehead. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like some sort of puzzle game, maybe. Whatever. Arch Rivals, which is a game that I have played on the NES for many years. I just picked it up here a few months ago, and I love Arch Rivals. So when I saw it for the Genesis, I picked it up. Top Gear 2. I do not have Top Gear, but I have Top Gear 2. You know, I do have Top Gear for the Super Nintendo. F-117 Night Storm. I should mention that these are all complete as well. LHX Attack Chopper, which is another one I thought for sure I have, but I don't. Echo the Dolphin. And I do have Echo the Dolphin, but I don't have it complete. This one is complete. Echo the Tides of Time, another one that I have, but I didn't have it complete. Now I do. World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Beavis and Butthead. This is the only one in here that's not complete. I don't think it's complete. Yeah, it's not complete. And then this one was complete, but I had to replace the sleeve on the inside. Toe Jam and Earl in Panic and Funkatron. The sleeve was like written on with marker. Somebody had actually marked out the Panic and Funkotron for some reason. I have no idea why. Maybe they thought it was a bad word. Funkotron. I couldn't tell you. And then we're going to move into... You remember me talking on the last video about a lot that I bought off of eBay, and I showed you a bunch of Sega CD games that I got for it, and I mentioned that it had Super Nintendo games and Genesis games. The Genesis games are the reason I bought it, because I got a whole ton of games that I did not already have. Alright, I got a complete copy of Fire Shark, which I had in loose cart form only. I got Alien Storm, The Terminator, T2 the arcade game. I don't know why I left this in there. Another copy of RoboCop vs. Terminator, so 3 Terminator games. Somebody was a fan. Final Zone. Sounds like one of my kids is up walking around upstairs. Super Smash TV. And this is the one that I really wanted in the group. Ghostbusters. So, that was the rest of that lot that I was talking about. And like I said, there were a bunch of games that were in the lot that I'm not showing you because I'm not keeping them in my collection. Next, what is this here? Oh yes, you remember Stickman's? I showed the little clip walking around in the store. Sorry, I know the video sucked, but I was trying to hide the phone down low where the guy at the counter couldn't see it. So that's why it also cut off short at the end, because he was right there in front of me. Anyway, these are the Genesis games I picked up there that I was going to put in my collection. This first one, I actually already had a copy, but I didn't have it complete, and it is Sword of Vermilion. Then I picked up a couple of games, and I've already told the story where I walked in and I tried to buy a bunch of games a number of times, and I ended up, the one time I walked in, I ended up doing the shell game where I grabbed a whole bunch of games and I walked up and there were kids in there that he was concerned with, and he was talking on the phone with his wife, and anyway, I was putting games in and taking them out, and I got him all confused, and I ended up getting a really good deal on these first couple games that I'm going to show you. I got Twin Cobra and Red Zone, along with a complete copy of Contra Hardcore off this guy. And like I said, I was passing in and taking out, and I went up there with like 12 different games. I came out with just these 3, but I mean, well, Contra Hardcore is a great game. I came out with those 3, and I ended up getting all of those for $22. Contra Hardcore loose goes for 20 bucks, so that was a pretty good deal, I thought. And one of the other games that I tried to get in that lot was Ultimate Kicks, but I couldn't get a good price on this one. For whatever reason, he was on to this one. And another one that I wanted to get at that time was Lightning Force, but I couldn't get a hold of that one either. He wanted, I want to say he wanted $25 for the Ultimate Kicks, and he wanted, I don't know, a whole bunch for Lightning Force as well. Well, I went back another time, got the other guy that worked there. He was not the owner slash manager, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, I ended up getting both of these games for 15 bucks. And like I said, the manager had wanted 25 just for this. So sometimes it pays to continue to go back to a store, because honestly, trying to get those 2 games, I was probably in that store 10 different times and struck out. Well, that 11th time, I got a different person and I got it. So sometimes it pays to keep going back. What are these? And I picked up a couple of games, and I ended up getting them. It was buy 2 get 1 free, I think is what it was. And I bought I got a Nintendo game for free. I don't remember what it was. But I picked up a copy of Streets of Rage, and the weird thing is, this is a complete copy of Streets of Rage. If you look in there, it's the first release of Streets of Rage, but the cover that was on it, well, I'm not going to bother pulling it out. The cover that was on it was the re-release cover, the red and blue one or whatever it was. So I ended up printing out a cover of the first release cover. And I don't know, you can see underneath there, a little red in the top there, that I kept that other cover in there. I don't know. Complete Streets of Rage. I now have all 3 Streets of Rage complete. I only had this in loose cart form. And I got Genghis Khan 2. And I ended up getting Genghis Khan 2 for, I want to say it was $5 maybe. I don't remember what this was, but I remember it being very cheap, and then looking it up, and it was worth a lot more money. These were at, I think it's called the Game Rack. It's the one that I went into, and the guy sold me all the old games that were in the back cheap because he couldn't sell them, and then he raised the price on them. Well, when I bought all those games cheap, I had told you that there were some SEGA Genesis titles I got there as well. I got 2 sports games for $1. I got a complete World Trophy Soccer and a complete Tecmo Super Hockey. I like hockey games, I like Tecmo games, so I'm probably going to like Tecmo Super Hockey. And I got this game. I don't know anything about this. I haven't actually sat down to play it yet. It looks kind of odd. It's called Saint Sword, and I essentially bought it because of the cover and the fact that he was selling it for $2. And was this one complete? Yes, this one was complete. Although I've got to get those stickers off of it yet. I also bought there that day, and I think this one was $2 as well, $2 or $3, I don't remember, a game called Crew Ball. And if you don't know what this is, I have actually played this. It is a pinball game, and they play Motley Crue music. And it says on there, attention headbangers, the ultimate heavy metal pinball concert is about to begin. So, yeah, it is fantastic. It's not actually a great pinball game, but any pinball game that has Motley Crue music playing has got to be pretty good. And it sounds awesome on the Genesis. I also picked up Gauntlet 4. So, that was at that store, the Game Rack, that the guy tried to cheat me out or whatever. Okay, and then I had one more pickup before I do all the exchanges here. Alright, this was an eBay purchase, and I saw both of these games listed separately. They just happened to be from the same seller. I noticed that it was a seller that hadn't sold many. They had like 20 or 30 sales, and so I thought I'd take a shot in the dark and ask them if they would sell them to me cheaper than what they wanted. Anyway, I asked for both of these games for a fixed price, including shipping, and even though they were already cheap, they still agreed to sell it to me without the shipping. So I ended up getting Gunstar Heroes and Phantasy Star 4 off of an eBay seller. They ended up shipping them to me, and they didn't charge me any shipping, and it also came with a loose copy of Phantasy Star 3, which if you think way back to when I got to raid my little brother's video game treasure chest, I got a case for Phantasy Star 3 off of him. So I put Phantasy Star 3 in the case. I took one of the copies of Phantasy Star 2 that I had, one of the extra copies, stuck it in a case, printed out a cover. I ended up selling both of those games that I got for essentially nothing for what I paid for these. Not so bad for Gunstar Heroes and Phantasy Star 4. Gunstar Heroes is a ridiculously difficult. That's not difficult. You can actually live for a long time. It's just, it's unrelenting. You don't get to take a break in that game. Even on easy, you're constantly moving and shooting. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Alright, what do we have here? Now we're on to the exchanges. Well, you guys will probably remember the exchange that I did the little walkthrough, and my son and I talked about it, and they had tons and tons of retro stuff. And in that video, you saw these. And a lot of you commented that if you'd have been there, you would have bought them all. Well, I didn't buy them all, but I bought half of them. There were 10 different stacks, and what these are, for those of you that didn't see it, they have 10 loose cartridges in this plastic for $1. And at first glance, I thought they were all sports games, but they're not. There were a few that had games mixed in, like this one has F-22 Interceptor and a couple other things. But yeah, for 10 cents a game, I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, $5 worth. I got 50 games for $5. Yes, they're loose games, and yes, they're loose sports games. But still, I mean, 10 cents a game. You can't walk out of there without them, although I did walk out without 5 stacks of them. I don't have a lot of these games, and I don't really go out of my way to collect most sports games because honestly, once you play one Madden, you've played them all, and there aren't a lot of differences in any of the football games. But if I can get them for 10 cents a piece, I'll put them in my collection. Whatever. Now, also there, before they moved into the new store, I had been in there probably a few months before, and I picked up my very first Mega Drive cartridge, and it is Bare Knuckle 3, or the Japanese version of Streets of Rage 3. Yeah, I don't know, I just didn't have it, and it seemed like they were selling it cheap, so I bought it, and there it is. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Whatever. Okay, now, on to the exchanges. This is the last little group here I have, and at the exchange in, I don't remember, what the heck, Aurora, I picked up Monopoly, because, well, it was, I don't remember if it was $1 or $2.50, but it was really cheap, and it normally sells for like $10, and my son loves to play Monopoly on the Master System, so I figured I would get it on the Genesis, and I bet he would like to play that just as much, if not a little bit more. These were picked up at the Medina Exchange because I didn't have, believe it or not, Golden Axe or Golden Axe 2. Now I do. Alright, the exchange in North Canton, which previously had been my favorite exchange. I picked up all sorts of great things there. They're always getting new stuff in. They usually have it at a really good price. Although the Cuyahoga Falls exchange has really been pushing them lately. And then the Cleveland Avenue Canton exchange has been good as well. But I picked these games up all at different times, not all at once. All for pretty good prices. I picked up a game called Dark Castle just because it has a flying monkey on the cover. Yeah, gotta have a flying monkey game. I got Ranger X, which I actually sat down and played this the day that I got it. It is a really cool game. I've never heard of it before. It is one of the later releases. When was this released? I don't know, whatever. I know it was a later release, and it is a really cool game. You guys check it out if you see it. It's not very expensive. I've seen it a couple times. I decided to pick it up that day. I got Battletoads for the Genesis. You know that because you saw my other videos. Zombies Ate My Neighbor. And then finally, I got a copy of Double Dragon, the arcade blockbuster. It is a fairly rare game. It is worth, I don't know, quite a bit of money. I got this for $2.50. And you hear me say $2.50 all the time. And I know that sounds like a weird number to a lot of you, especially if you don't have exchanges around. But the exchanges, they price stuff usually at $1, or at least video games anyway. $1, $2.50, $5, then you'll have $8 and $10. For $10 and below, those are the 5 price points. So that's why you hear $2.50 a lot. And I don't know why they priced this at $2.50, but they did. I don't care. I bought it. I lied. That was the last one in Canton. The last stack here is what I'm about to show you. These were all bought at Cuyahoga Falls at different times. I don't remember when. I don't remember what I paid for most of them. But here we go. In Sector X, pretty cool little shooter. I got a copy of The Lost Vikings. A copy of General Chaos with a terrible case. Spider-Man, Venom Spider-Man Separation Anxiety I bought. Then I picked up a couple of Koei games. I picked up PTO, Pacific Theater Operation. Yeah, it's a war simulator, and it's basically the United States fighting against Japan, so that should piss off a lot of people in Japan. Then, to piss off a lot of people in Great Britain, I got Liberty or Death Revolution. So, yeah, 2 Koei games that I'm sure didn't play in every part of the world. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hyperstone Heist. And, yeah, complete, although the manual, a little dog-eared. But There you go, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then I got a couple of games. These were both bought on the same day. And I got Powerball by Namco. And then I got Splatterhouse 2 by Namco. These were actually in opposite cases. And to be completely honest with you, the only reason I bought Powerball for $5 is so I could take the case and put Splatterhouse 2 in it. And the reason I went through so much trouble to take the case is because the Namco cases say Namco inside. I didn't want to just take one of the Sega or the Acclaim or Konami cases and put Splatterhouse 2 in it because, well, I wanted it to be complete. And it is. It also has, if I can get it open there, a Namco case. So that was the main reason I bought Powerball, just so I could get the case to put Splatterhouse 2 in. And yeah, I got Splatterhouse 2 for the loose cart price. I love the fact that the exchanges do that all the time. Although, I will say Powerball is not a terrible game. It's probably not one I'm going to be playing a bunch, but it's not too bad. Alright, is that it? Yes, believe it or not, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. One more to go. Okay, so even though this video that you just finished watching was like 20 minutes long after I edited it down, I picked some stuff up the other day. I went and met a friend, and he wanted to go to the exchanges with me, so we went to the one in Canton. I walked in. I shouldn't have even looked, but I looked in one of the cases, and they had tons of Genesis accessories. Complete Genesis accessories in the box. And they wanted $2.50 for all of them. So I'm going to show you what I got. And I'm adding it to this already long video. I apologize. But I'm sure if you're still watching, you probably won't mind too much. I'm going to be selling off a bunch of extra Genesises that I have. And because of that, I need all sorts of cables and controllers because I've either given them to friends or given them to people on YouTube, and I'm out of them. So here I got a set of AV cables, and I'm going to keep these because I gave my good set to Alex from Return to Mother Base. This is the one that actually has right and left channel stereo. So that is awesome. Then I picked up a couple of RF adapters. You'll notice I haven't even taken the prices off of them yet because I just got them. I got a couple of Performance 6-button super pads in the box. We could probably turn that around so you can see it. And this one here is still sealed. SG Pro Pad. It's the SEGA Genesis Pro Pad there, and they call it 6-button arcade layout. For those of you that like the layout of the Super Nintendo pad better, remember, that's the arcade layout. And yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, one of them still factory sealed. Alright, and if that wasn't enough already, you guys remember in one of my other videos, the hardware video, I said that I got that high performance pad because I've been looking for it ever since I saw it in Stig's Game Room's video. Well, I found 2 of them, still sealed in the package, both $2.50. These things are awesome. I can't tell you how cool these are, nor can I tell you how happy I am to have 3 of them now, 2 of them sealed. And no, nobody but me will be using them, so when the other one I have wears out, I can move on to one of these. Alright, still going on, I picked this stuff up. I got a 6-button, again, arcade pad for the Genesis, and this here, the Mega Mouse, and this thing doesn't have any kind of cellophane wrapping on it, but I'm fairly confident that it's brand new and has never been used. And I was surprised when I looked this thing up online to see how much it goes for. Fairly valuable thing to pick up for $2.50. I actually can't wait to give it a try. The way this thing works, it works like a normal mouse, but the 3 buttons on it are A, B, and C, so it'll be interesting to see if there are any games that this works well on. So there you go. Those are the things I added in. I'm also going to add at the end here, since I've already made this probably now a 30-minute video, I'm going to add some snapshots. I told you that at that exchange on Cleveland Avenue, they had display cases on the end. I'm just going to put the snapshots on the end of the display case so you can see what they look like. I thought they were kind of neat. I don't know, maybe I'll put them in another video. I have no idea. We'll see what happens.